Hello, and welcome to another episode of For the Love of Sports. My name is Michael Rasile, and this is the show where we get to talk about sports, we get to talk about business, and we get to talk about everything in between. Wherever you're listening, however you're listening, smash that like and subscribe button on YouTube. 5-star review over on Spotify, 5-star review, and say something really nice about me and my incredible guest today. I have Tanner Maddocks. Oh, no, I screwed it up. Maddocks. You said it goes both ways. We'll talk about that later. Tanner Maddocks. He's the quarterback at Villanova, University of, as well as the founder of Athlete Squared. Tanner, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
It's a great day to be alive. Tanner, I'm excited. You're a quarterback at a Division I college program. You are an entrepreneur of many different hats. You've done many different things. You're in school, right? You're a quarterback. Anyone watching, I'm using air quotes, but it's Villanova. I live in the area. It's a pretty difficult school, so we'll give it to you on that one. Got a lot of shit going on, man, and I'm excited to talk to you about it. But the first thing I ask everybody, Tanner, on the For the Love of Sports podcast is, why do you love sports so much?
Growing up, our family's always been athletic type. My dad actually played high school, played a little bit in college, but really for me it was just growing up. I have four brothers and a younger sister, but we always just grew up playing sports. We're very, very competitive. The Christmas season just passing us, we had a gingerbread house contest, and
Awesome.
How competitive that thing got over gingerbreads is crazy, but that's just how our family grew up. So we've been competitive since birth, and really it got beyond that point, and I realized that God gave me a talent and a desire to want to play sports at the top level, and I fell in love with it.
I love that, man. Yeah, I'm sure those Thanksgiving, do you guys do like a turkey bowl Thanksgiving? I have to assume, right?
And describe that a little bit.
Go outside, throw the pigskin around,
Yeah.
3v3, 4v4 kind of stuff. Mom and dad, everyone kind of out there playing, tackling. It's supposed to be touch, but, every once in a while.
Yeah, we played a few years ago. We played in the men's league, and it turned. I mean, like you said, it's supposed to be touch, but we're out there tackling people, and it's the nature of it, man.
It's football, baby. It's football. Come on, come on. You've played this, as you said. Your brothers played this, so you guys know what's going on. And I think it's awesome. Again, man. I do want to talk about it. You are a Division I athlete. You are a quarterback, right? I love all sports. Every single one I'll watch, and we can kind of, maybe not objectively, but I could say, obviously quarterback is probably the most important position in all sports, right? You got goalie in hockey, you have pitcher in baseball, but I don't think it's the same because you're going out there, the ball's in your hands every single play, and it's your decision to make every single play, and I think that's very important. You're the first Division I athlete to come from your high school, as you said. Multiple brothers with you, along with this ride. What kind of pride does that bring to you, to your family, to, your community, to see kind of someone like yourself, not quite get out, but be able to go and take, as you said, that God-given ability, that talent that you were given, put it to the max and go, to a great school in Villanova and go have the potential to be a starting quarterback one year?
Yeah, I have a lot of pride in everything I do. When I go at things, I go 100 miles an hour. I'm over the top. I do everything to the fullest extent to make sure that I'm in the best position possible. So growing up and going to that school, there was nobody that ever made it out of football. That just wasn't it. We were a big soccer school. Our soccer team's very good, but I love football, and it kind of it got to the point where while I was in high school, I was thinking about maybe I could transfer out, go to a private school or something where I have a better shot, and it ended up just not working out. God kept us where we were, and those were three of the best years of my life there. I got to play as a sophomore, and I had all four were all year apart, so there's 4 Maddoxes,
That's
and
awesome.
one in each grade playing on our team, and then up through my senior year, just playing with my buddies and just contributing to a winning, turning it into a winning program was I had more pride in that than making it out really, but I just think that the biggest thing for me is the next generation of kids, because of the stipulation that comes with we're not a winning team. We didn't really we had nobody that made it out of our football program, and just now that there is a glimpse of hope, I guess, in the sense that you can do it too. All you got to do is work, and that's really what it boils down to.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. So my mom was one of 8, so I have to assume the same kind of thing where you walk around the town she's from. oh, you're a Galapo. Oh, you're a Galapo. Oh, you're a Galapo, right? There was like for 10 years, there was one kid, practically throughout the entire school system. So all the parents knew and all the people. I have to assume it's something very similar, as you said. 4 of you guys being 4 years apart. You have your younger sister in there as well. Like, I assume the whole community had to really rally around and be so excited to hear the day and when you got to open up that letter and say, "Yep, I'm going Division One."
Yeah, I was always, I'm a very confident person. I think it contributes to my quarterback, but I always used to just tell people, I would get in arguments with people and say, I'm going, I'm playing Division One football. And really when it came to, when schools started reaching out to me, I had Division Two, Division Three schools reaching out to me, and I literally just told them, I said, I'm not playing anywhere but D1. And people, some of the coaches really got, annoyed with that. But that was just my mindset. So, when that day really came and I got the call, they said, "Hey, we want you to come down. We're going to give you, a full-ride scholarship." I didn't even know really how to react. My reaction was, "Oh," that's literally what I said. I was like, "Oh, well, in that case, I'll see you."
Yeah, but, I'll see you guys. When do I move in? Thanks.
Yeah, and it's funny that I went down and I committed the next day. Didn't leave it open for I had 4 more schools lined up that already said they were going to offer me on the visit, and I called them all and said I'm not coming. I got the one I wanted. But yeah, I mean, when that day came and I got that call, it really just more my family, just because they got to see, on a closer, I guess, scale in a sense of how much work I have put in. And they've seen me where I used to wake up at 3 a.m. and eat to put on weight. I put on 35 pounds in 1 year. And just waking up at 3 a.m. Like my mom making me breakfast. That's the cool part too. Is my mom always packed me these huge lunches, and all of our brothers, like, to see that pay off, and my mom's work and my dad working hard at work, and to provide for going to camps and stuff like that. That was really cool. Just seeing everybody else's work around me pay off.
That's awesome, man. It takes a village for sure. And obviously there's enough of you that you guys probably could be considered a village. So I think that's pretty important, man. But with that, right? So you, as you said, you always knew, you always had the feeling, the thought that you were going to go Division One. Which, hey, man, why not? If that's what you want, you go for it, right? Like it's gotten you this far. I am curious, what is it like now that you're there? And not so much from an actual playing standpoint. We can get into that a little bit, but really the thing that I'm most interested in is, now with NIL, now with these opportunities, you always had the opportunity to grow your brand as a quarterback at a Division I program. That was always the opportunity, right? Like that is king man, top man, like whatever you want to call it. Like I think it's incredible. How have you tried to take advantage of that? Only in these few short months that you've been there. How have you been able to take advantage of the opportunity that says, "Hey, like I want to build my brand. I want to meet people that I would not have been able to meet prior or without this, kind of label, if we may." Like, how have you been able to take advantage of being the quarterback, not on the field, but off of it?
The first thing I would go with is really, I have, obviously run business and stuff, and that's really where it's coming to the biggest play is just, meeting people, the alumni and stuff like that, and really wanting to just network. That's something that my quarterback coach and our OC there is very big on. We have alumni come to our practices, and we'll literally stop, our quarterback drills and he'll be like, "Hey, go over there, shake his hand, meet him, say hi to him." Yeah, and I actually, Philly's pride right here, Brian Westbrook, like he played with my OC, so like getting to meet him was really cool. Because you grow up and I grew up in Philly. It's just like who Brian Westbrook is, and to be able to like meet him was just cool. It's just you really do. You're part of a family that's a lot bigger than just the team you're on at the moment. You're part of the family that played 30 years ago. It's really cool to network. It's never ending, and it's never going to stop growing.
Network is your net worth. I heard that once, and I thought it was a little hokey, but I kind of leaned into it, and now I network constantly. This show is an easy way for me to network, right? And then telling people about the show, another easy way to network. And I just love meeting people and asking them questions, but also just understanding where they came from, who they are, and how they've done what they've done, and more importantly, how I can help, right? Like because I've met so many people, I can connect you with a couple. I already have a couple. Shout out James Santor, right out of Philly himself, LaSalle baseball. You don't worry, Tanner, you guys are going to get connected. James, if you're listening, you already probably got connected. So I think it's really important for people to do that, because that's the spiderweb effect at that point. You're able to meet someone like Brian Westbrook, who maybe he likes your idea for a business that can turn into something one day. Or maybe your OC introduces you to one of the alumni that has nothing to do with football, but man, this guy knows a lot of people, or this girl knows a lot of people in the business world, that you can then pick their brain and see where they go from there. You're 18 years old. You have so much time. If you're already starting to network now, it's compound interest, in my opinion. So you're going to continue to do what you do, which I absolutely love, man. So moving from the sports aspect to the business aspect, I mean, I have written down here, you created a board game when you were 11, if I'm not mistaken, and sold it at the local shop. You had a drop shipping business when you were 15. You had an NFT project that you just had culminate over the last year and change. Like, before we get to the business you're currently running, where does this business acumen and this business drive come from in your life?
So my dad, he owns his own business, does like restaurant maintenance.
Love it.
And, you know, PA, he's opened up a branch down in Florida. But there was just something that never sat right with me with working for somebody. It's just not the life I want to live. And that's why, you know, growing up, I never liked school, just because it kind of, in my opinion, it like puts you in a, you know, teaches you how to be a really good employee, and that's just never was it for me. I always wanted to, you know, own my own business. I wanted to create something, and I think that also just goes with my competitive drive, is like, I can always do better, and I can compete with anybody. So that's kind of, I think that's where the drive really came from, was just my dad being a role model in my life and seeing him own his own business and being like, well, why can't I?
And where do these ideas come from? I mean, the board game, drop shipping, like at 15 years old to run a drop shipping business and make 5 figures, like, that's pretty legit. Like, where are you getting these ideas? And either your brothers helping you or your parents helping you, or are you just kind of on the internet perusing? What are you doing, and how are you developing these? Yeah,
so, I mean, the board game, I honestly just thought stocks were cool. It's funny that that's where things come from for me. My ideas are just like, I want to learn about stocks. And I got this book that was pretty, I mean, I don't want to butcher it here, but it's pretty much, the title was Everything You Need to Know for Investing in Your 20s and Early 30s, or something like that.
Love it.
And I just thought, like, well, you know, I was 11 at the time, and I hated reading, but I was like, well, if I want to learn it, I might as well learn it from somebody that, or, you know, from the viewpoint of a 20-year-old. So I read this book, and I just started creating a board game, because I love playing. We played Monopoly as kids, like every other night. And if you know anything about Monopoly, it takes 12 hours to finish. Yep.
I hate Monopoly.
We did it so much that I do end up hating it now. But yeah, we grew up playing Monopoly, playing different games, and I just thought, well, I love Monopoly, and I want to learn about investing. So I was like, let me combine a board game with investing, and I want to make it accurate, so that, like, if you played the game, you actually learn something. So I did the research for it, and I built the first one literally just drawn on cardboard. Then it was paper glued to cardboard to make it look a little bit nicer, and then I got like paper that you can peel and stick after printing it. And then, you know, I just keep working my way up until I was going to like a Staples and would have them print it for me onto a board. And then I've officially made a prototype when I was 15, an operating one. I've never played it or anything like that. We didn't sell it in stores. I think you're getting we just made it in a store.
Oh, apologies.
But that would be, it's funny, but from 11, I probably worked on it from like 11, 13, took off for a year, then 15 picked it up, and then got it to an actual prototype. And I would like to say that in 10, 15 years, I'll do something with it.
Pick it up again.
Yeah. So, yeah, the ideas, I honestly would just say, are just things that I would like to learn. Drop shipping was that. Drop shipping, you know, like you said, it turned into a 5-figure company. But I really did it for fun, or for, whatever. I forget what it was, but I just thought it was fun. I sold dog trackers. It's called PetSmart, or Smart.
I was going to say that's a lawsuit.
Yeah, Smart Paw. Sorry, and it would track. It was just dog trackers, but it was something that I found that would have a high profit margin, and I was like, well, I want to learn drop shipping, so I did that, and then I got tired of it. I just stopped doing it, but I just wanted to learn it, so I did it.
And then how about the NFT project? I know you did something, Blind Bunnies, and it was kind of, it helped with the vision impaired community, if I'm not mistaken. I'll let you explain it, exactly what you did.
Yeah, so That idea was from, I would like to say, rooted from the investor board game that I created. Was I learned all the stuff about it, and then I started day trading around 15. I started doing some stocks when I was younger, but I really picked it up pretty heavily around like 15. Started doing like trading on my dad's account.
I was going to say legally. Yeah,
legally. On my
you
dad's
were
account.
just suggesting things for him to do.
Suggesting him to do, and I found it. I run into NFTs around like 17 years old. And I'm like, seems pretty similar concept. You're buying something that you think is going to increase in value. So I went to it, did research on everything you could look up about an NFT project, and I bought and sold them, and I did very good with it. And then I realized, how much money are these people making? They're actually selling the projects, and the fact that they're doing nothing with the money except for just pocketing it. So that's when I created Blind Bunnies, which would help people that were visually impaired. I don't really know why I picked that. I just kind of was like, this is something that I could see myself being passionate about, so I just went with it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and the alliteration never hurt. You're helping people. There's a couple different things that you're getting into there, which I think is pretty cool. So obviously, throughout your life, and it's I keep hearing 15 and being like, damn, that was so long ago. Because for 15 was 15 years ago for me.
Yeah.
For you, it's 3 years ago. It's like freaking the beginning of COVID at that point. So just kind of hearing and understanding that is I'm figuring it out in my brain a little bit. So now you have started a new company. Now focusing on NIL and athletes called Athletes Squared. Tell us exactly what you're doing with Athletes Squared, Tanner.
Yeah, so from the college aspect, from the college side of things, we're allowing them to monetize their names. So, a lot of kids that you see with NIL dealers are, Bryce Young, the guys that are, all the way at the top.
1% of the 1%.
Exactly. So, we're getting, when they say NIL deals are for all college athletes, there's not deals for all of them. And, and a lot of the time when you see Bryce Young, advertising for things, he's advertising for somebody else's brand, somebody else's name. He's just using, his platform to do so. And the whole idea behind what we're doing is we're allowing them to train. So you put out training content and stuff, but you're using the skills that you have worked your whole life for, the training that you've used your whole life, and, the performance that you're putting forward on a field to show that, this is why I am where I am. And we're allowing you to monetize yourself through training. So it's, if you're a D3 player, you could put out really good content and get users to come and subscribe to your training. And this is a deal that from the top-notch guy to the bottom guy, everybody has a fair shot. It's all about what you want to do with it, and that's really the big thing for the college side of things is we're offering an opportunity for everybody. And from the user side of things, I mean, just for personal experience, and even now, I watch Caleb Williams highlights. I've watched him all throughout high school into college, and I still do. In the off season, I study Caleb Williams film. There's probably 1 million screen recordings on my phone of Caleb Williams, because when you want to get better at something, you look at somebody else that's either ahead of you or doing it better than you, and I think that's probably the best way to learn, in my opinion, than somebody that played 20 years ago. The game changes way too fast, so we're allowing users to learn from somebody that is in college where they want to be, training and what they're doing and how they're performing to get where they're at. And I think it's like our slogan is training closer to the game. I think we're allowing and bridging that gap between where you want to be to where you are now. And the best way I see that is training the same way somebody's training now that's there. So that's the whole idea behind Athlete Squared and why we started.
That's awesome. I think it's so cool that you were able to kind of connect those dots, right? Why is Bryce Young, why is he not promoting himself? Why is he promoting someone else's brand? Well, it's money. Not everyone's getting those gigantic deals, though, so why not promote yourself from within to help younger athletes understand the game that is currently being played, that they are trying to play themselves? I think that's awesome. So just to clarify, essentially what happens is an athlete like yourself will upload content, video content of training, specific trainings for specific positions. Is it specific days? How exactly? I guess you said it's kind of a, whatever the athlete wants to do, but what have you guys seen, or where do you see athletes kind of taking this a little bit more? Is it just, hey, I do 20 reps of this and 30 reps of that, or is it a little bit more specific down to the position, the day, 3 days before game day? This is what I like to do at, defensive line, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so the way I tell people, we're going to be live in hopefully mid-2023. We're looking for May, June areas. So, but the way we've kind of talked to people is, what would I do if I was training myself when I was 7? And that's how I look at it, is I'm training my position and saying, as a 7-year-old, this is what I wish I would have been able to, know. And you always hear that a lot, is like, what would you tell your younger self, your younger business self? And you hear that a lot. It's a popular question, but there's so much value behind it. And that's why we just say, train your younger self. So when you're putting out content, you're putting it out for a young quarterback. And I don't want you to think of it as somebody else's kid or, some kid in the middle of nowhere. Think of yourself. What would you do? And you'd put a lot more effort into it if you thought you were training your younger self. So that's kind of the way we see it, is like, there's no specific, algorithm. There's no specific, set schedule of like, this is what you're supposed to post. And to kind of go back on your question, at the beginning was like, are these guys going to be trained? We're going to offer like almost like coaching tips, like this is how you should be doing it and how you should be operating. But at the same time, like I don't think one shoe fits all for training. I think that, the quarterbacks, a lot of the stuff is on the field or in a film room. For O lineman, it might be in the weight room and less on the field or something like that. So I think it changes and varies, and that's why I think you have to leave it up to the athlete to actually put out what they think is valuable and train, like I said, their younger self.
That's pretty cool. That's always a great way of doing it. When I wrote my book a couple of years ago, that was exactly what I did. I wrote it for my younger self because, like, hey, like it would have been nice to know this stuff. So hopefully, some of you guys can take advantage of it. So I think that's kind of always a great idea when thinking of stuff like this, especially when talking to a younger crowd, younger generation. So you have two sides, right? You have the user base side and you have the athlete side. How does it work? Like, I assume you kind of have to have both, right? You can't really have a chicken or the egg. You kind of need chicken and the egg. But how do athletes get paid? What does the payment look like? Is it based on the content that they're putting out? Is it the better you are? Do you set your own prices? I'm kind of curious about the marketplace side of this from the athlete's perspective.
Yeah, so from the athlete side of things, you technically set your own price. And I say technically because we will advise. Like all things, we have to make sure we're kind of monitoring. And so what our thing does is it actually takes like your social media size, like your following, it takes your position, and it takes your position in your sport, and like a few other things, and it'll pretty much put together like, okay, this is where you kind of line up on, almost like a social scale. So, obviously guys that are Bryce Young, if they came on the app, they're going to have an advantage. That's just how it is. You went to, but we want to offer that opportunity to everybody. So we will base price lines, but you can do really whatever you want. And if people are willing to pay it, then they're willing to pay it. So that's the whole idea. Is so you create content, you set your own prices, and users come on and they subscribe to you. And then we take a percentage from that. We take around 30%, and that's just for using our platform, helping you create all the content and stuff like that. I think it's, from what we've seen from surveys, it's actually way less than what people have actually expected us to take, which is a good sign to see. But but that's how the whole app is going to operate, in a sense, and that's how they're going to make money. And the cool part about that is we understand college kids don't have the money to spend up front. If they're not getting huge NIL deals, they don't have a job, so they're not going to be just have money. So you can sign up, you can do everything for free. You can start creating content for free. You don't have to do anything. We just take our cut and we send you your money. Like, it's just, you're pretty much just, you post content and can start making money the same day if you wanted to.
That is awesome. And shout out to you guys for coming up with that idea. I think it allows so many athletes an opportunity to really monetize however many social followers they have in whatever capacity, which I think is awesome. And it's probably going to be very easy. There's going to be some awesome athletes that come out of this, hopefully making a lot of money. Hopefully you guys are going to be doing well too, and really being able to say like, hey, this is be my workout for the day. If you want to actually do it along with me, or if you want to and kind of funnel people to your platform to allow them to then buy in to kind of their weekly regimen. And it sounds like if they learn something new, they could post it up, right? Like, it's not going to be static. It's not 5 6 videos. It's going to be a continuously evolving, continuous growth of the athlete themselves, and how they can then, as you said, kind of help their 7-year-old self and really being able to become better at the sport that they love so much.
Yeah, so and to go back on that, kind of, I like your point with how it's just kind of, it's not static. It's just it's continuous, and that's one of the big things is our as an athlete, you go on and you would say, I think I'm going to post twice a week, or maybe 4 times a month or something like that. So you set how much you project to put content out. But like, for example, let's say you've been on it for a year and you have 100 pieces of content already created, or 200. Like, as a user, when you get on and you unlock their page, you get access to all of that stuff and what they continue to make. So like, you can literally go from athlete to athlete. And the cool part is according to surveys that we've run with users, is people are expecting what they're going to spend on our platform versus what they're spending right now is 91% less.
Wow.
So, you know, our platform starts, its minimum is $5.99 a month for content, and then, you know, it obviously ranges depending on the athlete. But, you know, according to our survey, people are spending on average over $200 something a month, you know, on training. So we're allowing you to get, you know, training from somebody that is in the moment, living in it, training, you know, every single day to be, you know, the best athlete they can be in a position that you want to be at. And you can get it for cheaper because it's not specific for you. You know, obviously there's that aspect of it. So they're not creating it, you know, like this is just for, you know, Joe over here. Mm-hmm. But he's creating it for a specific group of athletes that want to be where he's at and what he would teach himself. So I just think the value to what you're getting is just, it's going to be incredible. And that's what we want.
Yeah, and you know, from the athlete's perspective, they all want to try and bring as many people to the platform as possible, because maybe that your one user uses you, but maybe they also use your friend, and maybe your friend's friends, right? And like, you know, it kind of is the sum is greater than the parts itself, because these users, right, on the people that are looking to train, they're going to be going from athlete to athlete, seeing who they like the most, right? Maybe they come in through, you know, you, Tanner, but then they find, you know, one of your teammates or a quarterback across the country is like, I actually like what he does too. You know, I'll subscribe to both of them. It's $20 a month, and I get all of their workouts and all of their training sessions and anything. Is there going to be any sort of like kind of communication for like an extra charge where it's like an extra $5? You can, you know, chat with me directly, like, hey, you know, this doesn't work for me so much. What would you do in this situation? Do you have anything like that in mind? Is that a little further down the line? Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself a bit.
No, that'll be part of it. We have just like a paid messaging feature. You know, if you want to shoot them a message and say, you know, whether it's about training or whether you just want to reach out to somebody that you know as your role model, which I think is really cool. We have that part of it, and then we're also figuring out how to really incorporate. We want like almost feedback for our users, so that, you know, if you just shot, you know, you do training and you shot a video of you doing the training, going, hey, am I doing this correctly? We're trying to figure out how to do that without, you know, causing you to spend money or anything like that, like a free way to coach up. Because like really our biggest thing, and the reason we're creating it, is we want to be able to serve these people to the best of our ability, allow them to get exactly what they want. And that's why like every video that a user or an athlete will post has like tags of like what it works on. Very and cool. You can really find out and see. Every athlete has to put on like almost like a free trial video of a workout, so that you as a user, now you can see, okay, these are the tags that they use, and okay, I'm interested in this. Now I'm going to go watch this video to make sure that it is what I want, and it's filmed, you know, in a higher quality, and the description matches it. So like, we're really making sure that before you spend any money, you can make sure this is the exact guy I want. And that's what's cool. Like what you're saying is like, if you go to a guy and you thought you were going to train from him, and you find out, oh, maybe I don't want to go with him, there's so many other people that you can go and look and find exactly what you want to serve your needs the best way possible. Yeah,
I think that's awesome. It just allows for more opportunity for these athletes, again, to make a couple bucks through their own names, image, and likeness, which I think is great. The idea is great. The idea, I think, is really cool, and it will help a lot of people, not only just the athletes, but it'll help the people that are looking to be trained by these athletes, right? But do you have a background in like building apps and products and software? Like where did that aspect come in, and how? I feel like that's probably the most just annoying part of this whole thing, because the idea is great. It's the execution of making sure that platform is always up to speed and the tags are working properly, right? It's all that is probably not the most enjoyable aspect of it.
Yeah, so I mean, like really in any business that I've run, I have zero experience, and I'm a huge researcher, so from the software aspect of things, you know, we're outsourcing that. It's actually a friend of a friend. He's
always nice.
He's very, very good at what he does, and you know, that's like what we're starting to figure out right now is how we want to set that up. But you know, from my perspective, I didn't know anything about software development, and I actually found it's called CS50. Harvard put their computer science course online, and I've been taking that. Just because I need to be able to understand it. If I'm going to run a business and I'm going to run it competitively, I got to make sure that I know what I'm doing first of all, but I need to know how to do it to the best of my ability. So even if I'm not the software designer or engineer, I need to make sure I know what I'm doing to be able to make calls that can help really take Athlete Squared to a different level. So that is definitely the most annoying part of running this. Is definitely the software side of things, but it's necessary because we want to make sure users have a great experience, athletes have a great experience while they're on our platform.
Yeah, because it's such a new idea. If someone comes on and it just doesn't work, it's going to be so easy for people to be like, "No, I'm good." Like it's just so easy. So exactly, you're going to have a couple minutes initially, not even seconds, to make sure that everything is working smoothly and it's proper. And as you said, like you get that free video or that free trial, you can look, you can see, you can search, you can do other things, and really make sure that that's working. So you have the software side down. Also, just want to mention again, just make sure everyone's aware, you're taking a Harvard level course on top of being a college quarterback, on top of your classes, on top of running the business. So we don't need to get into it, but just want to make sure everyone understands the amount of effort that you're putting into this, because it's absolutely incredible, babe. Kudos and congratulations to you. Marketing. How are you finding both the athletes? I feel like the athletes is, hey, post content, but like not everyone wants to post content about that, right? So how are you finding the athletes that want to do this and are going to be engaged and not just do it 3 or 4 times and then forget? And how are you going out and finding the users that will come in and pay? Because without paying users, you just got a bunch of athletes posting workout videos that nobody's making money from.
Yeah, so from the survey aspect of things, that's kind of how we've really been reaching out as of right now. Is we're having people take surveys so we can get data. From the user side of things, there's 2 ways we've done it. We've just used Instagram, social media, stuff like that. And we've reached out to pages that, maybe they're football fan pages or soccer or basketball fan pages. And we have them just put the survey out. So, we'll get results that way. And in other ways, we've been running it through school athletic directors. So
nice.
We actually have a list of 3,200 athletic directors across the whole U.S. And we have just been reaching out and saying, hey, we're looking to run a survey to help athletes, train. So those are a few ways that we've been doing it. And really the results we've seen are better than we thought. There's a little bit of nerve when you start running a survey after the idea is already there. And you think, in your head, you're like, well, it logically makes sense that people want to use this. And once people start taking the survey and you got data to back it now, it's like, it just, there's a relief that comes with that. But from the college aspect of things, it's really the same thing. Like we'll use like sports pages, that we've been talking to, or the first way we did it was we just went to college athletes at schools and we were like, yeah, like we'll pay you to just post on your story or send it in a group chat, or something like that. So that's actually part of our plan once we get to market is we're just calling it our college tour, and we're going from college, these big colleges, and we're just pretty much like getting 1 to 2 guys at each school, and we're saying like, listen, we want you to like get it to your friends, whether that's through like just talking to them or messaging them or sending in a group chat or something like that, and really just get it out there. We're not saying you have to hop on. We just want people to put it in front of them and let them do what they want with it. So those are like the 2. Really, social media is probably the biggest way, but those are the 2 ways we've really managed those sides.
Villanova, Temple, Rutgers, Penn State, Fordham. There's a lot of schools up here in the Northeast that they're not all big football schools. I mean, obviously Rutgers, huge football school, but the opportunity to get that out, as you said, for basketball, for soccer, for rowing, right? Like Princeton, come here. I'm 20 minutes away from Princeton, right? You can come here and talk to those athletes. Like there is a lot of different athletes around, and so the athlete side of it makes sense. Again, here's an opportunity for you to make money, but is the expected generation from the user side going to just be through the athletes, or are you guys going to try and do some supplemental marketing on top of it to make sure that we have enough people coming in? It's not just whoever you bring in, they use you, and it's kind of a small group of people. The more people you have on there, the more opportunity is for all these athletes to make money. So yes, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of pull, but what's going to be from the athlete side? What are you guys going to do to try and supplement and bring as many younger users to the platform?
Yeah, so we're actually are you familiar with NCSA? It's a recruiting platform.
No.
So they're the biggest recruiting platform in the world. They are in the U.S. And they've been running, I want to say, a little over 10 years. And since then they've sent over 250,000 kids to college that have committed through them. they're a very, very big platform. So
They
we're
can
partnered.
probably hook you up with athletes too. I
So
think that's pretty
yeah,
easy.
yeah. So all those kids that go there are looking to get recruiting help. They're trying to get help with networking with colleges, getting in front of colleges, getting their film in front of colleges, numbers, all that stuff. So we've already agreed and partnered with them when we launch, and we have we're able to send out emails to them. Each kid that goes on their platform is assigned a recruiter, and that recruiter, if he thinks necessary or he or she thinks necessary, can send them to our platform because we are partnered. So that's one of the ways that we have already lined up. We've been talking to ESPN for different sports, and we've talked to Ball is Life for basketball. So different ways to promote through social media. Then we understand that just as well as you do. I mean, it's a great question because it's important. There's going to be pool. We know that, and we want to make sure that there is more than enough users on our platform. And I think we're solving a really big need. Obviously there's other training companies out there, but just from the user side of things and the surveys we've run, like we're coming out with 96% of kids that take our survey are looking to use our platform. A lot of them are already signed up, so we're creating these giant lists and giant databases that we're pulling from, and there's a lot of interest. So we're going to continue to help our athletes the best we can to push users into our platform.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, man. Like, I think, like, obviously the college aspect of it, the NIL aspect of it is great. I mean, I worked with Olympic athletes. I'm sure many of them could be interested in this type of program, right? Where the opportunity they get to teach what they're doing, how they're working out from an Olympic level. Like, you don't get that anywhere else. And I think it's so cool that you get, like, that kind of down-to-earth athlete aspect of it, right? Because athlete to athlete is different than trainer to athlete or coach to athlete. There's that kind of, not barrier, but there's that difference in mentality, right, of that coach being like, no, you have to do this. And if it's an athlete being like, this is how I got here. If you want to do that, you're going to do this exact way, right? There's that kind of camaraderie almost with that. And I think what you've been able to build here, man, I'm very excited to see it when it comes out in a couple months. Maybe we'll have you back on the show, tell us some of the cool things that you've had on. But I think it's awesome, man. Kudos. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And that's part of the reason we were kind of like, we went with this route was just because, like, I know from experience, like, trainers, they could have been, the best Division I player, All-American. But, if that's, and the crazy part is like, if that was 5-10 years ago, the game has just, I mean, like, I know it's a simple thing to think about, but like turf, for instance, like,
Yep.
like just how fast our game and technology is changing, and we're still using the same stuff for training. We're using, ex-players and stuff like that. And not to say there's none out there, and there definitely is a lot that are highly qualified. But I'm just like, the game changes so much from year to year that to use something that's 10 years out of date in a sense. I don't want to say it like that, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's just to use something that's somebody that is in it right now. It's just, I think the value that's coming from that is just, it's going to be something that we're not going to be able to project really.
Well, to think about it, I mean, we saw Georgia just win the national championship. I mean, they beat Ohio State essentially for the national championship game. No shot at TCU. Shout out to them for what they did. But, like, $80 million is put into their program. Now, some of that's for this, some of that's for that. A significant amount of that is for health and training and recovery. Maybe you guys aren't going to have any Georgia players on the platform, but, out of the gate, you're going to get Division I athletes who are literally at the top of the top of the top. Like, these programs spend more money than professional programs do on this because they have so many more people. So they're learning so much more. They're so advanced.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing so much more and learning so much. These athletes on a year-to-year basis, once you're 3, 4, 5 years into this thing, you're going to be doing something completely different from freshman year to senior year, most likely, because of the advances in technology, because of the advances in understanding the body that we learn every year. I mean, think of your Whoop band, your Fitbit, right? Like, what you're learning every single day from yourself. These athletes can now take that information and pretty much just monetize it. So the school is giving them all this information. I'm sure there's going to be dietary and fitness and recovery on your site as well. It's not just going to be training, especially right off the bat. But the opportunity for these athletes to just take this information they've been given, utilize it, just essentially take a video of themselves and be like, here, I'm a Division I athlete. This is literally what I'm doing every day. This is what I would do if I was this age. This is what I would be doing if I was 7 kind of thing. And really being able to just take that information and just put it out there, it just seems so unbelievably easy. It's then the marketing of it. You guys are going to help with that, obviously. They're going to be able to help and use their brands and what they've learned and how they've done it to be able to push to it. But the opportunity, I think, is huge. And as you said, an athlete can post 100 videos, not post for a year, but there's still 100 videos there that athlete had. So the opportunity for them to continuously make money is always going to be there. I think I think it's an awesome idea, man. I'm absolutely rooting for you guys. I think this is so cool.
Yeah, and just to really hit on that is like, I know from a quarterback, what I was learning when I was 7, if I threw like that now, I would never be here. To be honest, like
Exactly.
and like my throwing motion now is something that like I actually drive up to Boston from Pennsylvania to fix my throwing mechanics, and I'm a Division I quarterback, and I still have that much to fix. It's just because it changed so much, and the stuff that I used to do, I have to break those habits and create something else. So it's like it just alters and changes so much. And like you're saying with Georgia, like they're putting that much money in for a reason. It's so important to train the right way at the right time to make sure you're preventing injuries and making sure you're performing the best. And funny enough, we have Georgia football players.
Oh, you do?
Signed.
No shit. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to assume. My apologies.
No, you're good. We have actually from the football side of things, we have Georgia. We have actually a 5-star recruit in Tennessee signed up, and we have I want to say Notre Dame, USC. We've pretty good receiver from USC already signed up. And then we got some Michigan lacrosse players. We have signed up to this point. We have like from top to bottom. The interest is there from every level, and that's the cool part is that there is an interest from guys that are the top, and that are going to these programs that are putting $80 million into a facility and to make sure they're training right.
That's awesome, man. Well, kudos, well deserved. Yeah, I'm sure you guys are going to crush it. So I'm so excited to see in a couple months. So when give us some more information. Where can we find everything? The socials. When expected again? Is this going to come out? Give us a little bit more.
Yeah. So. We don't have a website up or anything right now because it's obviously under, we're working on it right now. So, I mean, really the mainstream way is just athlete_squared. That's our Instagram tag. That's really where we're starting to, we just literally started making a push on there. We're going to start getting out. But from the athlete side of things, if any athletes are watching this or users are watching this, you can go to Tanner. You can email Tanner@athletesquared.co. That's CO, and you can shoot me an email and I can give you all the information you need. We got to find a way to get more mainstreamed information without using our website in a sense, using another website instead of using our main one. So that's something we're looking to figure out. But those two are probably the best ways to do it. And I'm obviously willing to give out any information or hop on a call to explain anything with anybody. Anyways,
love it, dude. Yeah, I'll put all that in the show notes for everyone so they can just check that out if they love to. But Tanner, I think this is awesome. I think what you're doing, again, 18 years old, what you're capable of. I mean, the sky's the limit, man. So good luck. Rooting for you, obviously. Me and hopefully everyone in the audience that's listening, 100% going to be rooting for you, what you're doing, how you're doing it. And, hopefully you can, because there's two sides, right? You're helping athletes make money through their name, image, and likeness. You're also helping, younger athletes just learn the absolute best, best of the best from the best of the best. I think that is so cool, and it's such a great idea, and absolutely rooting for you. So one more time, Tanner Maddocks, I got it. Quarterback at Villanova, founder of Athlete Squared. Tanner, really appreciate your time today. Time's the only thing we don't get more of, so thank you again for yours. Thank the audience for theirs, and other than that, man, hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, everybody.